Welcome back to Off Guard. It's your host, Austin Rivers, along with my co-host, Pausha Haghighi. We are back. Missed last episode. We'll make that up for the people who were wondering what happened. I was under the weather, traveling a little bit. Weather change, kids, boogers, flu, coughs. It's that time of year. Unfortunately, it's like flu season, and they don't discriminate. And I got. So recovering. If you can hear it in my voice, you can hear that I'm doing this for y'all today. Okay, for everybody listening, I'm doing this for y'all, for the love of the game, not I for the game.
Not I for the game. For everyone that's listening, obviously they know that we live in Orlando, primarily. Obviously, you're on the road a lot. It was in the 30s the other day in Orlando, and it's pretty early in the year to get that. Usually that's like January, February where you're getting that really cold weather. So yeah, people are getting sick. So I am happy that you're back healthy. Yeah, I'm not loving that I'm like right across from you in the crosshairs.
I'm good now. I feel fine now. Yeah, this is maybe 2-3 days ago. Okay, but luckily, with the on the bench, I wasn't near any of my compadres. We're all separated. So it's not like I could get any of those guys sick.
No, you were next to the Pistons or Wizards bench.
Wizards, but I'm like next to them, but I'm not like in there. I'm like, I guess I am.
You weren't breathing on CJ McCollum?
No. I mean, my goodness, he was actually unbelievable.
Yeah, for sure. And I want to get to that night. Monday night was a pretty incredible night across the board in the NBA. Yeah. Two of the games we were at separately. We'll start with yours. Cade Cunningham, the 40-point triple-double, leading his team to a win, but also missing, I guess, the record of most field goals in a game. How was that experience being there? What was your biggest takeaway?
If you watch the game, then you would realize he wasn't just like chucking up shots. And if you look at the statistics, if you look at the scorecard, which I never like to do, it's tough because you can't watch every game. So when you can't watch every game, you go to the stat sheet and the box score, and you look at people's numbers and you indicate what type of night they had based off of that. He was unbelievable the entire game. They were coming off a back-to-back. He had just took over the game the night before in Philly, where he had 24 points.
And just he dunked on your guy Andre Drummond pretty bad.
He did punch on my guy. I didn't like that. I didn't think that was respectful. But nah, he's
sneaky athletic a little bit, kind of what Paul Pierce was when he was young.
It's actually a really good comparison.
Yeah.
In terms of his athleticism. Like, it is sneaky like that. People forget, like, Paul Pierce is in, like, the McDonald's dunk contest. Like, he actually could get up and dunk on you. It's actually a good comparison. Yeah, Cade's the same way in that regard. He's had 5 games in a row with 20 or more in the second half. The kid is a stud. That game, every shot he shot was a good shot. He was getting wherever he wanted. I can't tell you how many layups or, like, just simple shots that usually Cade would hit, he missed. It just was one of those nights. With that being said, he just kept shooting. Sasser was out. Jaden Ivey was out. Asar Thompson was out. Tobias Harris was out. Isaiah Stewart was out. They had their whole team out. So it was Cade, Jalen Duren, and pretty much just a bunch of guys fighting to get more minutes, or guys who were getting an opportunity to play. Jenkins was one of those kids who actually had an unbelievable night. Was a game changer for them. Hit 2 of the game-winning shots. He hit the game-tying shot, and then even the play before hit a big shot. Had multiple game-winning plays. Really happy for that young man. But yeah, the headlines wasn't Pistons won, Cade 40-point triple-double. It was how many shots Cade took. But if you were there watching the game, I can't tell you how many. He didn't take one bad shot. He might have took maybe one bad shot the entirety of the game. All 40-plus attempt shots by him were good looks. He just was missing. But you could see right out the gate, their coach and him was like, yo, you're going to have to be like over the top aggressive. We don't have our guys tonight. So if he doesn't shoot that many times, the Pistons don't win that game. So there's a reason before that night, Cade has never shot 40-plus shots. You know what I mean? So it's like, it'd be like if the Magic played and Franz was out and Desmond Bane was out and Wendell Carter was out and whoever, Tyus Jones. You take
and you're on a back-to-back.
Yeah, and on back-to-back.
Right.
Paulo would probably be like, I might have to shoot 30-something plus times tonight, 40 times tonight to get this win. And they're in overtime. So it's just like, and it was a trap game. They're playing the worst team in the league who's had their best game of the season. The Wizards are playing their ass off because the Wizards could sniff like, hey, we can get our second win tonight. This is a game we can win. Their team is depleted of injury and they're on a back-to-back. We can get this one. So they're playing like their best basketball. CJ was absolutely frying. So like Cade had to, he had to do it. It is what it is. Him and CJ at one point were going back and forth. A lot of good basketball. And then I get off air and I realize across the board of the league there was like multiple game winners and multiple great games. Donovan Mitchell hit a game tying shot, and then Desmond Bain hit a heave hell of a shot to beat Portland.
Blazers, yeah.
So yeah, great night for basketball. The most impressive thing I'll take is the statistics of the views and ratings and how high they are. And this is without LeBron James, someone who has kind of dictated the pace of which the NBA is being seen. Let's just be honest. He's the most notable athlete we've had in our sport since MJ. And, with him being out, our ratings have still been able to be sky high, which is encouraging. We've always worried about that. That's how important he is to the game. Him, Steph, specifically. But the NBA continues to do its thing, which has been great. And these young stars, Cade Cunningham, Paolo, all these guys we're naming, are off to fast starts, having incredible seasons so far. Well, Paolo and the Magic are kind of
they're turning the tide. They're turning the tide a little bit. Last night's win was huge. We'll get to that. Before we move off the Cade thing, I want to ask you something that was asked to me, and I've texted to you in the group chat, so you've had a couple of days to maybe wrestle with it. But for the rest of their career, I was asked, who are you taking, Cade Cunningham or Anthony Edwards?
It's a valid question. I don't know if I have an answer for that.
So if you're on the Anthony Edwards side, you're like, listen, I've been in the Olympics. I've been a part of the face of the league of the upcoming guys. I have the personality, and I've been to the conference finals 2 years in a row. I have the stats of everything to prove it.
Am I a GM? You're asking me to be president of a team and make that choice.
Well, you can't be a friend because I think you're leaning towards Ant in that regard.
If it's the homie, I'm going with Ant. Yeah. If I'm the president of a team, it's a really hard choice. There's no wrong answer. Let me say that first and foremost. Yeah. There isn't a wrong answer in this regard. If you choose Ant, like what are we talking about? I think this is tomato with both of them. They're both top tier guards in the NBA, but they're different. Ant is more scorer oriented. I think Ant is more capable of a defender. Cade can defend too, though. So it's not like Cade's a weak defender. But Ant, I think, has a potential that could be higher, maybe, in some regards. Cade can control the game better.
And I think that's what people look for now. Like in the 90s and 2000s, the Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, let's say Dwayne Wade, these guys were more buckets, right? And that's what Anthony Edwards is.
Yeah, I think
Cade's more of that James Harden, Luka, like control the ball, dictate the play. Like
correct. He's a point guard.
Yeah.
He has point guard skills.
Yeah.
Ant is of that 2-guard cloth. You know what I'm saying? So Ant makes plays or gets assists off when he's just trying to score and it's not there, but he gets so much traffic and attention, he's able to find an open man and gets an assist. Cade literally is just coming down, picking and choosing when he wants to score and when he wants to get people. It's just a different type of thinking. So
different personalities too.
And different personalities, yeah. I do like Cade's personality though.
Yeah. I
like how poker face he always is. He's always just like solid. From talking to JB Bickerstaff, he's like, yo, this dude is the best star I've been around. He's like, this guy has no ego. He doesn't care if he has 20 points in like Jalen Durant has 28. He doesn't need to be the guy every night. He just is. And because he's that way, like his teammates it's just a known thing. They just encourage him. He's the guy. He doesn't have an ego like that, but he's confident as a motherfucker. He's sure of himself. He demands from his teammates in a way that they respond to, which a lot of stars aren't able to do. Again, Ant has the personality for the camera. So if you're asking me from a business standpoint,
you're doing like taking sales and all that stuff. Yeah.
Maybe Ant.
Back in the arena.
Yeah, Ant can do that. Cade might not have that, but from a person this is why it's like tough to answer that question, because Cade might not have those things, but he's also, because he doesn't have all of that, he's also might be easier to handle in some regards. So it's like bittersweet both sides. Ant brings things that Cade doesn't have, but Cade also brings things that Ant doesn't have. There's like pluses and minuses. So I tend to wash that out and just stick to the basketball side. The basketball side, oof, right now, I don't really see anybody better than Cade other than Shai Alexander and Luka. I think Cade's the third best guard in the NBA.
So are you buying Pistons or number 1 seed in the East? I'm not saying you think they're going to be the number 1 seed in the East at the end of the season.
I'm not buying their
But you're
team.
buying them being a legit Eastern contender?
Yes, because of him only. The rest of his team is good. I like Jalen Duren. I like Isaiah Stewart. I like the toughness those guys bring. I like Duncan Robinson. Big signing for them after losing Malik Beasley and Tim Hardaway Jr. They lost a lot of shooting. They still need one more shooter. They just lost a lot.
And another ball handler.
And they need another ball handler. When they lost Schroeder, people really underestimate like what Schroeder did for Cade. It allowed Cade to sometimes be able to tap back into a 2-guard role sometimes. Right now, it's just the ball's in his hands so much you worry. I see like Jalen Brunson, or like I see some of these guys that like Trae Young. When you have the ball in your hands so much, well, if you stop him, they lose.
Yeah, and in the playoffs, it's easier to game
It's
plan.
it's one guy. So if you can stop him, they lose.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like whereas like, for instance, it's why they brought Kyrie in with Luka when he was with Dallas, because now it's like it's just hard to game plan for two guys can do it.
We talked about this on the pod before. You were on the team with Chris Paul or James Harden or Russell Westbrook, and it's just different.
It gives it's more complex. There it is. I mean, to dumb it down for the most vaguest of terms, it's just more complex of an offense when you have two guys who can do it. Now, Schroeder isn't at that level, so it's not like it was Schroeder and Cade, but Schroeder offers just playmaking and experience to where it can just alleviate certain pressures for Cade, and that's what it did. And then you add experienced shooters like a Malik Beasley or a Tim Hardaway Jr., that was vital for them. So, they did add Duncan, who's starting to come on now, shooting the ball much better. I do believe they need another shooter, and they definitely need another ball handler. Now, Ivy's been out, Sasser's been out. So when those guys come back, that could be the other ball handler. They are ball handlers. So that is. Shooting is a red flag for me on their team. They have a couple guys that can make shots consistently from 3. So I would like the improvement of that area for them. If we're talking contending, or if they can get another shooter in there somewhere, that would change things, because now Cade can just dissect offenses. He has, a couple ball handlers with him. He's got, other guys. Do I think they're coming out of the East? No. Do I think they're a contender or someone who could be a thorn in people's sides? Yeah, kind of like they were last year. Now, Cade's making these steps. Maybe that's progressed.
Yeah.
That's real. Do I see them beating Cleveland in 7 games? I don't. I just don't.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
The thing about Cade too is, and the difference in their career trajectories is, Cade was drafted number 1, and they sort of built around him. But the tough thing about Ant, if you're in Ant's camp in this argument, would be he made the playoffs that one time. They all celebrated with like Jared Vanderbilt. Remember that team? And they all, and Patrick Beverly, and they're waving the towel. Lost to Memphis. Then they bring in. Then Cat was injured. No, Cat played. But then Cat was out one year. Rudy's in. He had to learn how to play with that. And Cat comes back the next year. They go to the conference finals. Then he has to play around Julius Randle. It's a big change. Ant's kind of always changing and learning how to play with different teams, and still going to the conference finals and figuring out ways to win. So that's the other side of that. Cade's kind of just been the focal point. That's kind of his team. But then Cade had that like 20-game losing streak he had to deal with too. And you didn't hear anything. So they both had their honestly, you can't go wrong said.
Ant was drafted to a much better situation. He was drafted with an already star player. He had Karl Anthony Towns next to him, and then they grabbed Rudy and all these other guys. Nas Reed, Jaden McDaniels. Just the talent around Ant has been unbelievable. To Ant's defense, if we're comparing the two, despite obviously the rosters, Ant's been in the conference finals twice. We got to put some respect on that. I think we get so caught up in who won instead of like, going to the conference finals 2 years in a row is a hell of a thing. I played over a decade in the NBA. I never went to the conference finals once. So we can't just shoo that off. He has gone twice. To Cade's he has not gone. Now, Ant has been in the league longer. But, that's impressive, especially in the Western Conference, with all that talent over there. So It's a tough question to get down to it, who I would take, Ant or Cade. I think you can go either way. I don't think there's a wrong answer again. With that being said, I'll just say this and outright. I'm answering the question without answering it. I don't know if there's that many players better than Cade Cunningham right now. Literally, if we're talking guards, 1, 2, hell, throw the threes in there. I don't give a damn. It's Shea, Luka, Cade. I think those are the top 3 guards in the NBA, regardless of wings, shooting guards, point guards. Put them all together. He is third. I don't see anybody else better than him. And I don't know if I would take anybody better than him.
So according to what you're saying, Cade is the second best player in the Eastern Conference.
Yes. Behind Giannis.
Yeah. And let's talk, you're talking about the ratings being really good this year without LeBron. I think it's because the best players are playing insane. Like the MVP race this year, or just to make first team All-NBA.
It helps. It helps.
Yeah.
The best
Giannis,
guys are playing well.
Jokic, Wemby, Cade. Look at all these guys. Luka, Luka's playing so well. They just got rid of the Nico. I mean, do you want to talk? Do you want to get?
I mean, yeah, we might as well get into that.
This is supposed to be a huge chunk of this episode today.
Yeah, listen, we're gonna get right into that. I think a lot of people saw this possibly coming. I believe the owner, the governor, whatever they're calling him, I don't know what that title is. Such a weird title. Made an emotional decision. I'm not saying it's the wrong one. I do believe it was emotional. I think the coincidence of him sitting at a game next to a kid wearing a Luka jersey and a Laker jersey when the Lakers weren't even there that night speaks volumes.
So it was staged.
I don't know what that was.
It's so like poetic. Like he talks to this disgruntled fan and then he fires Nico Harrison the next day.
It's just like, why would an owner be talking to a random fan who has no skin in the game?
And it's a bright yellow Luka jersey. It's just obvious for everyone to see.
And they're sitting right next to each other talking, and then the next day gets fired.
Yeah.
It was really weird.
It's kind of like, hey, the owner's doing this for the fans. Let's get the fans back on the same side as the owners.
And that's why I think it's an emotional decision. I think he came to the games, and it felt like, from what I'm hearing from the players, I'm not going to quote. Well, I will quote. I'm not going to say the player's name. But there was a player for the Mavericks who told a friend of mine, mutual friend of mine, it feels like we have 82 away games. And he's like, we would get excited to play on the road because every time we come home, people just chant this the whole game, fire Nico, fire Nico. People would talk shit to us as if we had something to do with the trade or as if we advocated to get Luka out of here. And it was just a very toxic environment in Dallas. I don't think any owner wants to come to a game where the crowd is chanting to fire the president. Your team's losing just about every game. They're 3-8, whatever they were at the time. It's not easy to deal with. On top of that, he's just walking in to his official first year as the owner, governor, whatever you want to call it. It's not easy to deal with. That's why I do think that Luka fan thing, I don't know if it's staged or not, it is weird. Let's call it that. All right. And I think it was an emotional decision because the plan that Nico set out hasn't even been seen yet.
You knew Kyrie was going to be injured for a lot of the season.
You knew Kyrie was hurt, and AD came into camp not even his best self yet. Some of those pictures were glorified on Instagram. He's not like that. I've seen other videos and pictures of him. He's not that out of shape. Is he prime AD right now? No. Is he the AD even last year we played his first game where he had like 28? No, he's not that yet. He's injured, so he's not even in game shape yet. So he might be a little bit heavier than what he usually is. But you don't have AD, you don't have Kyrie, you don't have Derek Lively.
You threw Cooper at point.
Cooper's playing a new position, and then you're wondering why your team's off to a weird start.
Yeah.
Okay. Najee Marshall's leading them in scoring half these games. They're 3-8, you guys. Then they fire Nico, as if Nico has anything to do with these guys playing a certain way.
Yeah.
That's why it's an emotional decision. He just got tired of going there and hearing fire Nico, so he fired Nico. I'm playing both sides here. We'll get to Nico in a second. But Nico's plan never was even seen. If Kyrie was playing at point, and you had Clay at 2, and Cooper at his right position, 3. And I understand what Cooper's doing right now. I think J-Kid knows this team's not going to win a lot of games without these guys playing. He's like, let me just get Cooper better in pick-and-roll situations. Let's get his on-the-ball skills better. He needs to develop in these ways. He did it with Giannis, so we've seen it before, where he's put these guys at point. He's trying to develop them. I don't mind it, but it's going to come at a cost. if you're experimenting and trying these type of
You're
things,
not trying to win games.
You're not trying to win games. So you can't do both.
Yeah.
So when you fire Nico, Nico's just like, this wasn't my vision.
Right.
His vision was Kyrie, Clay, Cooper. And then you put AD, and then you put, whether it's Lively, Gatford, whatever, it's a fucking hell of a team. That team would probably be like 7-4 or 8-2. They'd probably be at the top of the West, like we all had them predicted before the Kyrie injury. So, to Luka's credit, he has assembled a very good roster. Their team, roster-wise, is very competitive, and they would have been competitive if healthy. So when he gets fired, pre-seeing all of this, it's kind of like, well, what the fuck? Because his team that he put together hasn't even been seen yet. So that's why you're just like, why now?
It must have been so bad, like that source you heard. It must have been so bad that they're just like, listen, it's never going to be good unless we fire this guy. Yeah. So if we do it now or a year from now, it's just never going to be good.
We got to do it. We got to get rid of him. Yeah. And with the losing, inflames everything. So not only is all this stuff going on where you're like, we got to get rid of this now. It'd be one thing if they're winning. They're losing too. So people are just like, yeah, we got to get rid of this guy.
Yeah.
Because the players are even tired of it. When you got players like, yo, it feels like 82 away. If I heard it, you don't think the owners heard it? You know, I mean, God knows what he's hearing over there. He's probably like, yo, you got to go.
Yeah.
So that's what it is. And then it doesn't help. He's sitting next to a fan, whether that's staged or not. The kid had a Lakers jersey on with a Luka, you know what I mean? Like, it's just, what are we doing here? Like now let's get to the other side. The Luka trade is one of the worst trades.
The worst. Let's just say it.
It's
got to be the worst.
It's one of the worst trades, if not the worst trade. I'll go on the air and I'll say this right now. The Luka trade is probably the worst trade I've seen in NBA history. Okay? So it does warrant firing. I just don't understand why it happened now. If you were going to fire him, you should have fired him last year.
You should have fired him when he suggested it.
Yeah,
You're standing next to him.
If he's like, I think I'm trading Luka, I would have been like, hey, man, you're not for our team. Even suggesting trading Luka, I would have probably fired you.
Yeah.
Why fire him now? If you might as well run with it now and see if his vision even works.
Yeah.
I think with the timetable of Kyrie not coming back till possibly the end of the year, if maybe not, I think the owner's like, I don't want to deal with this for 82 games, and neither do these players. I don't want Cooper.
Yeah, you're infecting our number one pick.
Our number one pick. I don't want him around this environment either.
Of course.
If we can clear him out, then we could just be left with what we got. We still got the same team that Nico put together. So if it comes together, great. But we've eliminated the negativity. So I understand it from that regard as well.
Yeah.
It was an awful trade. Luka's the second best guard in the NBA. And from a talent standpoint, you could argue he could be the best guard in the NBA. All right, he doesn't have the team that Shea has. With all due respect to Shea. I love Shea, but Shea has an all-star cast of talent around him.
It's true. I don't want to take anything away from Shea and the run he's on. If he misses a game and I'm a team and I'm preparing for the Thunder and Shea's out, I'm still like,
what are you talking about? You'll probably still lose.
Yeah, we got a lot of.
What do you mean? They had guys playing last night that I've never even heard of.
I saw Casey Wallace go baseline and punch on someone. I was like, this is getting a little.
I don't even know who that light-skinned big was last night. The guy did a pump fake step back three. I was like, who the hell is that? Who's this? They just have talent on talent on talent on talent on talent. Sam Presti's drafted so well.
I think they have the Clippers pick this year too, which is going to be a good one.
That's another one.
And
he has multiple picks coming in the following year. So this team's just going to be running shit for a while now. You just might as well get used to it. Back to what we're saying. If Luka was plotted on that team, you took Shea out and implemented Luka, that team is going to the finals still. Okay? I'm just being honest. So Luka could rightfully so say, hey, listen, I've been first team 5 times. I'm the best guard in the NBA. And I can't really argue that either. So trading that guy for Anthony Davis is berserk. Especially, and I say berserk only because where AD's also at in his age and his career. Now, if this was 80 Pelicans, then you could say, at that time, AD was like a...
It would have been similar for Luka being traded for like Giannis right now. You'd be like, okay, I don't love it because the Dallas Mavericks are still committed. The fan base is connected with Luka. So you still don't want to be traded, but at least you're like, man, we're getting
we're getting a top...
Another MVP
We're getting another top player in the league.
Yeah,
so it's like, if this was prime AD, you would be able to stomach it because you'd be like, okay, so we traded the 3rd best player in the league for the 4th best player in the league. I can deal with that. And he's a better defender. If this is what we need, we'll take AD. That's not the AD we're getting. AD's my age. AD came in the same class I am. Guys, I'm a podcaster now. Okay, so that tells you, from our class, look at Brad Beal. Okay? We're old. Damian Lillard.
That's crazy.
Draymond Green. Andre Drummond. All right, there's only a few of these guys left in the league. Okay? Everybody else is out. Harrison Barnes. Bro, this is my class. We are all old, man. For NBA terms, at least.
I'm about to say, look.
No.
I'm sitting across from you right now. You look youthful.
No, my fade is just popping. In hindsight, we're young as ever. But in the NBA, we're as old as dust. That's just how it works.
Yeah.
So that's where, on top of everything, it's like, yeah, this trade, it was abysmal, okay? And this was bound to happen. So it is what it is. And I think they wanted to get rid of this negativity. The fire Nico chance was very uncomfortable for people to be a part of, especially for people who work in the organization and work next to Nico. But you could see people around Nico being like, stop. His fans would be like, fuck out of here. You know what I mean? Like, what are you talking about? People celebrating when he got fired out. It was just nasty.
Imagine if you're a Dallas fan, which I've been to Dallas, a lot of amazing fans out there. You have the Cowboys where every year starts with like a player being like holding out for a better contract, like Dak, CeeDee Lamb, somebody. You have all that drama with the Cowboys. Now you have this where you traded a guy, like you said, 5 first-team All-NBAs. Go look it up, man. How many players have 5 first-team All-NBAs? And he did it in a row before the age of like 24.
Yeah, no,
it just doesn't happen.
It doesn't happen. And let's get to the bottom of it. The trade was made due to ego.
You couldn't get some picks back? Desmond Bane got traded for 4 picks for the Magic.
That tells you this trade was made also emotionally. We talk about the firing of Nico was emotional, but rightfully so. So was this trade. So was that trade. The trade was completely emotional. Nico and him didn't get along. Nico wanted more control. Luka does things his own way. Then they departed some of the medical staff that was surrounding Luka without Luka knowing. Even the famous clip of him grabbing the beer out of Luka's hands, you can see Luka's reaction after getting him to the finals. They were celebrating conference finals. My man can't have a beer after the game. Like, relax, bro. So you could see it when Finley grabbed it out because Nico told him to. Luka was like, what the fuck y'all doing? This is the issues that were going on behind the scenes, was a power dynamic problem. Nico, you shouldn't be having a power dynamic with the guy who makes $50 million a year. You don't make $50 million, and you're not first-team All-NBA. In fact, you've never played basketball at a high level. Why are you beefing with Luka? Oh, no, I'm just going to get rid of you. I traded you. It got you fired. So, do I believe Nico should have been fired? Yes. Do I believe the trade he made was awful? The worst ever, perhaps. Do I think the timing of his departure was right? No. I think it should have happened this past summer, or you wait till the other summer. Doing it mid-season or early in the season,
it just had to have been.
It's just weird. But to the owner and governor's defense, it was so toxic, I think they were like, yo, we got to get him out of here. And with the number 1 pick, Cooper Flagg there in this environment, I understand.
And with this draft class coming up, you're probably like, Darren Peterson would look good next to Cooper. Mikal Brown, who we got to talk about.
Yeah.
Some of these guys, it's like, all right, man. So now you think AD might get traded. Everyone's talking about him putting in mock trades. Kyrie potentially, So
I have a proposal for that trade, by the way. I would call right back to Pelinka. Hey, listen, we're not going to win anyways. Let's make some money. Who can bring in some money?
Oh, you're not doing this.
Who?
Do you think for LeBron?
Absolutely.
But LeBron has a no trade clause, so he's not going to.
Yeah, that's not going to happen then. That's who I would.
Yeah.
If I'm the Lakers, I got to get him out. He's got to go. He's 40-something years old, and it's no. Bro, when I say this, people are like, "Look, bro, I'm not." This has nothing to do with LeBron's greatness. LeBron is arguably the greatest player of all time. I have him the second best player to ever touch a basketball. That's a hell of a thing to say. Okay, considering he came in with that expectation for him to actually achieve it to the point where people actually put him sometimes one is unbelievable. So I have nothing against LeBron. Unbelievable career, GOAT status, stamped, done. That being said, he's 40-something years old, guys. All right, he's in his 23rd season. What are we talking about?
Well, don't you want to at least see him play with Austin Reeves and Luka the way they're constructed?
Do you want to know why? Because their team is not that piece away. They're multiple pieces away. I just watched them lose by 50 last night to the Thunder. LeBron's not going to 50-point. That gap is not going to change because of LeBron. But Thunder didn't even have Jalen Williams playing.
But the Thunder have been doing that to teams. Like they did it to the Warriors.
Yeah, I know, but their second best player's not playing.
Yeah.
And they have been blowing out everybody because they're much better than everybody. And
Yeah,
they're going to win.
Shea's not playing fourth
They're
quarters.
going to win again.
Yeah.
They're going to win again. I called that. We asked who was going to win again. I said, bro, ain't nobody beating OKC. They're mollywhopping everybody.
Denver's quietly lurking.
Denver is the only team. The only team.
Our producer actually sent in a stat. I don't know if it still holds up. I think Denver's the only team in top 5 offense and defense in the NBA.
They're the only team capable of beating OKC. And that's because the best player on the planet plays on that team.
Yeah.
That's Nikola Jokic.
He played like the best player last night.
He's number 1 in the league, okay? Shea's very good. I could put him 2 or 3 with Luka. There's no, you notice no one argues who's won. Everyone knows who the top 4 players are in the NBA. It's the same top 4 it's been for the past 4 or 5 years. It's Luka, Shea, not in any order. Well, we'll go in order. Fuck it. It's Nikola, 1. I'm going Shea, 2.
Shea off the resume of last year.
And you could put Luka or Giannis 3 or 4, depending on what day they're having. That's the 4. And for a little bit of time there, Joel Embiid was that 5th guy. Now, that's obviously not the case anymore. Now that 5th could be anybody. Hell, I put Cade in that motherfucker. That's how good he is.
Yeah.
So
people want Victor to slide into that.
Victor is the next guy to be in that group. He's on his way. And you
Yeah.
could argue with what he does on defense, he could probably make a case for that. So whether it's Cade, Victor, there's that next, whatever.
I don't like really quick. I don't like what Wemby did to our guy Vooch. He ISO'd him at top of the key.
I don't like how I don't like how he waved off the pick. First off, I need to find out who was coming to set a pick. Why would you get Vucevic off of Wemby? He's a center who's up there guarding at the 3-point line. That's not where they're comfortable
That's
guarding.
Not where, he's not
so
used
why
to
would you
murky
come
waters
pick him
for our
off?
boy.
Wemby was like, "What are you doing? Get out the way." Anyways, yeah. So it is what it is, man. You don't like to see someone get booed like that, but when you make a trade that bad, it comes with the territory, man. So it's like I want to feel bad for Nico Harrison. It's just that trade was so fucking, excuse my language, it was so stupid that it's hard to feel bad for him. And then he gets fired and he goes to his Instagram and puts his bio as unemployed. It's just weird.
The whole thing is it feels scripted. I can't explain it.
Why,
so
I couldn't imagine getting fired at that public of a on a stage that public.
Yeah.
And then logging onto my Instagram and changing it to unemployed as if that makes you look it makes you look worse. It's like you're making fun of your own self.
Yeah.
It's like it was an attempt to deflect by laughing at yourself. It ain't funny, bro. A whole organization that was on the rise is in turmoil. You had a generational player moved for a guy at the end of his career. It's not funny. People don't think it's funny. That's why they're chanting your name to be fired. People were celebrating your departure. They were popping champagne outside the arena when they announced that you were getting fired. There's nothing funny about it. I do believe that was an attempt to be lighthearted. People don't want to hear that from you. If people think, if anything, it's weird. It's like girl dad, unemployed. It's like, what are we doing, Nico? Because of that and this whole thing, it's hard to see him ever having a position high up anywhere. Well, the NBA's done. You can forget. He needs to get away from that. He will never be a president.
He made the moves to bring them to the finals, too. The PJ Washington, Daniel Gafford, traded for Kyrie.
That's the trouble in this.
He made some great moves early on.
I had an argument with someone yesterday because I was like, what's crazy is the Luka thing is such a bad trade. It clouds all the other good moves he made, whether it's getting Gafford, drafting Derek Lively, the PJ Washington acquisition. He put a lot of those pieces together to where that team made a finals run. Nico did a fantastic job putting a great team together. So prior to the Luka trade, he was doing a fantastic job as an exec. So he shows the capability. But then you do that. That move was so bad that when it came out, the whole world thought it was fake. Because everyone's like, no, he didn't do that. Nobody would do that. Come on, man. It's fake news. And then it was real. And everyone's like.
And then you hear that they only wanted to trade him to the Lakers. That's why it didn't come out.
So that's like, what's happening
So
here?
why wouldn't you want to make it the bid the highest it could be?
He called Pelinka. Pelinka answered the phone like, hello. It was like, I guarantee you Pelinka put that phone down. It was like.
It's probably like Wolf of Wall Street. He's looking at the guys like, shh.
Oh, yeah.
No one can tell anyone.
Yeah. So it is what it is. It had to happen. Again, the timing of it probably isn't fair to Nico because his dream or his vision wasn't seen, but it had to happen.
Imagine if they didn't even get Cooper, that 1% chance of getting Cooper, it would have been even worse.
Well, no, if they didn't have Cooper, it would have been even nastier there.
Yeah.
My God. So I think because of that, even more so, the owner's probably like, we got to clear this out, man. We got to get this environment back to being positive. This was a Class A organization when I took the reins. You got to think from an owner's standpoint. I took this from Mark Cuban, one of the more beloved.
You know how you said that it seems like Nico and the organization was getting rid of all the names that were bigger than him. Mark Cuban out. Their trainer Casey Smith, longtime trainer, he had a big voice in the locker room and everything. He was a big part of the team. I think he works with the Knicks now. He got out. Everyone was like, "What is that?" And then obviously after that, Luka gets anyone that was kind of had a big voice in that franchise. Seems like they're not there anymore.
So great point. Owner's probably like, we got to get we got to get the ship back steering straight.
Just win the fans back.
Yeah, we got to get something going here. So it is what it is. It had to happen, man.
I have a question for you. If Luka didn't come out to such an amazing start this year, maybe he started the year injured and stuff, would they have been like, oh, Nico had it right. Maybe he knew what he was doing.
I think
basically, did Luka's trainer getting him skinny this year lead to Nico getting fired?
I think a lot of that happens. It's like when you break up with a girl and then she ends up on the cover of a magazine. You'll be like, where was this at? You know what I mean? So it's how it is. Like the Score X, like upgrading in her life. Without you, you're like, so I don't think that helps. I think anytime there's a big marquee trade like that,
our producers are totally relatable. Our producer Gene's definitely seen an X on the cover of a magazine. He's like,
anytime you see an X glow up, you're like,
at least get with like a real rich guy after and they're doing close up. But then you got to win the long game. You might lose the first round.
What you end up asking yourself as a human is, well, wait, was I holding you back? You know what I'm saying? So listen, anytime there's a blockbuster trade, you watch both sides to see what both players are doing, and if one is excelling, it makes the other one look bad. It's how it works. That's what we always do. People look at the Shea PG trade, and everybody's like, holy shit. They gave away all that to the Thunder, which helped set this foundation of what they are now for Paul George. At the time, it felt like the Clippers were cheating. Paul George, Kawhi, da-da-da. Now, again, this is what you do. You look at the success, the championship the Thunder has, Shea's an MVP, all these different things. Now you look at it and you're like,
that's the worst trade of all time, not the Luka one.
That was an awful trade.
So we have two this decade.
Very bad trade. Now,
that was in 2019.
The difference is, and why it's not over Luka, is no one knew Shea was going to be that. So Luka was already first team All-NBA 5 times. Okay, so to Lawrence Frank's defense, Shea was good. Shea was just a young player.
Yeah, your dad even said it. You have to make that trade. When
he's like, what are you talking about?
You have to get that trade.
Kawhi said he wanted PG there. You got to make the trade. At that time, Kawhi was coming off of Toronto. He was the hottest player in the NBA. You do it. By the way, PG was just coming off an MVP run with the Thunder. So people could say whatever they want now. At the time, nobody would have not made that move. Absolutely. And nobody knew Shea was going to be what he was or what he is now. So that's the difference. This dude, Nico, traded the best guard in the
8 months after he was in the finals.
The best guard in the NBA because they didn't get along. It's a very stupid decision, and it cost him his job, and it's going to cost him. I hate saying this because I don't like putting negativity in the air on someone. I'm not. I'm just predicting what I think will happen for that man. Is I don't see him getting a high position in any sports job ever after that. So it's a tough pill to swallow.
For sure.
But it had to happen.
You mentioned the Clippers and Bradley Beal. It was announced that he's out for the year. It's a tough break for this team that already is
hip
playing
surgery, right?
I have to ask you, man, as someone who has been a part of the organization, father obviously coached the Clippers, man. Are you believing this Clippers are cursed thing? What's going on?
I don't know what that is. I do believe, listen, having the oldest team in the NBA comes with a price. You know what I'm saying? It's a young man's game.
But even Norman Powell now hooping in Miami.
Well, he was
high octane offense.
But he was hooping last year.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, he was their second best player at times last year because Kawhi wasn't available for a lot of games. It was James and Norman Powell.
Right. He could have been an all-star last year.
Yeah. Like, people are like, man, look what Norman Powell's doing in Miami. He was doing the same thing last year for the Clippers. The difference is the Eastern Conference is a little more watered down. So he's actually one of the better guards in the East. In the West, he's just a guy hooping. Like, go call C.J. McCollum. C.J. McCollum did that for a decade in Portland, never made an All-Star game because the Western Conference is full of, like, you got Steph Curry, you got Shea, but it's too many names. Luka was in the West, still in the West. You ain't getting in the All-Star game.
His teammate Dame was in.
Dame.
Yeah.
Look at those 4 guys in this name. You're not getting in the All-Star game. In the East, you could go beat Tyler Hero. You could beat Darius Garland. You could sneak in that motherfucker.
Right.
You know what I mean? So he's now in the Eastern Conference putting up numbers. Norman Powell might make an All-Star game. Josh Giddey go make an All-Star game. That you can do it in the East. Just being honest. So he goes to Miami and is putting up numbers. Bro, Norman was really nice last year. He's a good player. He's much better than Brad Beal at this point in Brad Beal's career. This isn't prime Brad Beal. This isn't a healthy Brad Beal. He's been banged up with injuries. This isn't the same guy that we got in D.C. So, yeah, that move cost them. Not to mention the outlining reason of the Clippers' success or failure, should we say, has nothing to do with Brad Beal. Okay, so no, does the Norman Powell thing help? No, it didn't. It didn't help them. But we know why. Kawhi Leonard has been the biggest reason for the Clippers' downfall. It is what it is. I'm a huge Kawhi Leonard fan. I think he's a fantastic player, but I'm not about to sit here and sugarcoat this. This guy hasn't been available at all. Yeah, I'm not going to leave it at that. I don't even need to. Do I need to elaborate on that?
No.
Yeah. Okay. So like, we know why that is. Are they cursed? I don't know. I don't get into all that, man. I don't believe. No.
I'm obviously.
But yeah, it is. It's like
you're cursed or not. The Red Sox, they beat the Babe Ruth curse.
So it's like I don't believe it.
You're not cursed, but man, it's just been a tough run for an organization that's had a lot of
Wasn't Shea
talent.
on the cover of 2K?
Yeah,
and he didn't get hurt. Okay, so you know what I mean. So like, yeah, that stuff is whatever. But
are you superstitious?
I'm a little stitious.
I just knew I should have. I can't ask a Michael Scott fan a question like that.
Not something like that.
Yeah, no,
I'm not superstitious, but I'm a little stitious, which is actually correct. I'm not superstitious.
You didn't wear the same like socks for the game, or
no, but like I do have some quirks about me where like if there's a pole and like I'm walking with a friend and he goes,
I've seen you do that. I've seen you do that.
I gotta go to the other side of you. So there's like some little things I have for sure. There's
how about any game day things like when you
for sure league? Routine. There's definitely things I have to do. So,
but then again, you told me one time you forgot your the compression shorts or your tights or whatever, and then you went out there without anything and you started hooping for the Timberwolves.
I had like 26 one night off the bench free balling.
Yeah.
I was free balling down there, just Euro stepping, just ball swinging everywhere.
See, if you were superstitious, you would never want underwear again after that.
Nah, exactly. So it's like
you were at the restaurants.
There's certain things I am about, but there's others that yeah. So, but the Clippers are at a point now where they should probably just call it. They got a really old team. I would try to move some of these guys. I would restart. I really would.
They don't have any of their picks, man. It's like,
I don't.
But they might lose more in the Kawhi Leonard
I'm saying,
scandal.
but what about these guys they have? You don't think you can get anything for James or anything for Kawhi or anything for any of these dudes?
I mean, there comes a point of
Zubac
season
or
where teams think that they're close, but they're a piece away,
and they you get like a James or maybe Kawhi's healthy, but then and more healthy, and then you get Zubac or they have guys. John Collins. They have old. All these guys are older though. Like you can move a lot of these dudes though.
Yeah.
So I think Lawrence Frank should just. First off, Steve, let's deplete your budget. You're spending a shit ton on this roster.
Right.
Let's clear that out. Let's just rebuild and start this thing from scratch our way. See if we can get some of these picks back. See if we can move some of these guys for picks. We'll be bad for the next 2, 3, 4 years, but after that, the light's at the end of the tunnel. Let's restart. These next couple of years of draft classes are loaded. See if we can go grab somebody. The problem is, they don't even have their pick this year.
Do you want to let's dive into the draft a little bit because these guys have been. This is going to be a top 5.
Yeah, it's one of those. It's one of those classes that you'll remember for the next decade, for sure. When you look at the top with Peterson, Boozer, DeBancha.
Can we get some player comps for some of these guys?
Mikal Brown. Okay, yeah. DeBancha. Let's start with DeBancha. DeBancha reminds me a mix of. I'll go ceiling though. I see T-Mac. Yeah. Let's just keep it.
I would say out of the main maybe 4 or 5 guys in this draft, he's the one I'm maybe lowest on, only because it looks like he's just more athletic, faster, and kind of just is a bucket. Like
who?
I hope DeBancha. I just hope that translates to the league. It just seems like he's kind of like a guy that's out there just like I don't know. So far I know BYU usually plays like in the beginning of the year you're playing bad teams. It looks like a little bit more like pickup. Like he's just out there hooping and being better than everyone. But he's just kind of always done that. In high school he just looked like he shouldn't have been there.
So that's where people wonder.
I just want to see him in the league do it, I guess.
We'll see. Is it going to be Ace Bailey? You know what I mean? Like Ace Bailey still, we don't know yet. He's talented.
He had a nice little reverse the other night.
The little two-hand. He's very talented. We still don't know what he's going to be. Could that be AJ? No, I think AJ's a little bit more polished. I do. Yeah. I think just the way he moves his body, the way he's able to get in the paint and score, I think he'll come in the league right away and put up numbers. I get what you're saying, though. It does look like that. He plays it.
But then again, like if someone like you said, he was number 1 in high school, this good in college, like maybe it's just all right there for you.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah, it could be the writing's on the wall.
Underthink it. Yeah, you have to overthink it.
So I'll put McGrady up there. I'm going high. I see McGrady possibilities with him. When we talk about 6'7", 6'8", capability to move the ball, handle the ball like he can. Jump shot needs to improve. But T-Mac didn't have that jumper coming out either. People remember him in Toronto. He was just an athlete. That jumper didn't really start to come into full fleet till he got to Orlando. So it takes time. I see that with AJ. Cameron Boozer's a workhorse with a motor. I see if he can improve his jump shot. Like he reminds me of Kevin Love. He just gets rebounds.
Are we talking Kevin Love? He has 2 different careers.
I'm talking about Minnesota Kevin. I'm talking about Minnesota Kevin before he became like an elite jump shooter.
Yeah.
He just was in that paint dominating with a motor on him. Cameron doesn't have a 40-inch vertical, but he gets 20 rebounds. Kevin Love could jump over a couple textbooks, and that's it. Would lead the league in rebounds. You know what I'm saying? Like,
of course.
Workhorse, down there scoring. He reminds me of Kevin Love. Kevin Love was a beast.
Yeah, and Kevin Love had the outlet pass thing where
he looks like an Abercrombie model now. But when he played in Minnesota, he was like this heavy set, just bulldog down there in the paint, holding it down. Then he started getting that jumper going, and he's like, he can do the inside, outside. He was a monster. I see that with Cameron. With a motor. Like, he had a motor, too. Kevin had a motor. So that's what I see with Cameron. Yeah. He's more athletic than Kevin, but Kevin could shoot better. So they both have their strengths. But I see that type of cloth with him. Because people like Duncan's post game was a little different. I don't know.
There's some guys it's going to be hard to compare. Like they don't really cross over. Like, there's no Tim Duncans in this generation.
Yeah, I don't see that. I don't see that. Yeah, I don't see that.
Certain guys
there's no Shaqs, but
you know what I mean. Though there's just no like it's hard to. It's
Tim Duncan.
We're not throwing around a Tim Duncan comparison.
Yeah, like I'm not top 5 power forward of all time, top 5 player of all time. Tim Duncan's close to being Rushmore, guys. If you have a hard time, I'm not going to be in here talking about this guy's Magic Johnson. You're not going to hear me say that. Right. I'm not giving a guy Steph Curry. I won't do it.
Yeah.
Except Pajimski apparently said, did you see that quote?
There's a couple. He's the most irrationally confident human being. He said if he played baseball, he would have been Ohtani. He's like, I could have pitched.
Yeah, he said.
I was like, yeah, you should have done that then, bro. He made $700 million. Like, what are we doing? That's crazy. And then he said he hopes, Steph passes the torch to him?
Yeah, bro. It's like Pajemski, dog. You're lucky you're in the rotation. Respectfully. You're lucky you're in the rotation.
Some crazy quotes. But I have a question. When Ant says stuff like that, how come we love it?
Because Ant's good.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
I know. I'm just...
You talking about when Ant says something like that? Yeah.
My job on this pod is to be devil's advocate. I'm trying to do the other side of it.
Like Allen Iverson could talk about missing practice because he plays his ass off every game and he's MVP of the NBA. Yeah. You don't get to do that. You're not him. Talk about passing the torch. Torch to who?
Yeah.
The are you talking about? This kid is... Well, I'm going to be nice. Anyways, let's get back to it. Mikal Brown. I see Mikal... We'll start with De'Aaron Peterson first. De'Aaron Peterson reminds me of Gilbert Arenas. Prime Gilbert Arenas. I know his ceiling.
The shot there because Gilbert.
Not yet. Gilbert could shoot from the parking lot.
Yeah.
But prime Gilbert Arenas. He reminds me of De'Aaron Peterson. He just does. Now, I think his potential is much higher. I mean, you got guys like Bill Self, like, this is the most talented freshman I've ever coached in my life. That's a hell of a thing to say. Bill Self's been around a lot of great players in his day. And then you got like Bill Simmons, our ex colleague, saying, this guy is second coming of.
Well, people are saying he's the best guard prospect since
Kobe.
Yeah, Kobe, Vince Carter.
So he's good. He's averaging 21 at Kansas as a freshman. He's the real deal. His jump shot he's got a nice jumper too, though. It's not bad. So that will improve.
And the same thing about him you could say about all these guys really, like Cam and AJ, is like they looked ready last year.
Yeah, bro.
They could have been NBA players last year.
We need to, with NIL being a thing now, with NIL corrupting basketball as much as it is, these kids, if they're that good, just let them come out of high school. What are we doing here? What's the point? All we're doing is risking a year of one of these talents getting hurt. We knew AJ was going to dominate at BYU. What conference is he in? What the is he doing
But
there?
at least if they're doing that 1 year risking getting hurt, now they're getting paid, right? That's
Yeah,
the
for
other side of
sure.
it. Yeah.
I know that. But if you're going to get paid anyways, why don't they just get paid top dollar and go to the league? Why is AJ playing at BYU? Cameron Boozer's having like 20 and 20 games. Get him out of college. Cooper skipped his senior year, went to Duke, and dominated.
He probably shouldn't have been there either.
shouldn't have been there. He absolutely, bro, they went to the Final Four. He dominated.
Yeah.
And they should have won the whole thing.
Yeah, looking at Concanipple becoming the Rookie of the Year candidate that he is, they should have won the whole thing. That's crazy.
Bro, their team was loaded, bro. They
Tyrese
lost.
Proctor's been like a
they
good
also,
second round
They also
pick.
were beating Houston's ass the entire game. And then Houston just snuck up and took it from them. That should have been
one of the most frustrating losses.
Oh my God, bro! I being a Duke fan watching that game, I almost threw up. I mean, that was an easy. I know that should have been a championship. We would have played Florida in the final. Molly Wop would have beat them, no problem.
I'll say it would have been a good game.
Nah, man, we was smacking Florida, bro. We beating them, but regardless, hey, listen, they won. Hats off. De'Aaron Peterson, I see. Gilbert Arenas, I see. He doesn't have the explosion athletically as a Kobe. So those comparisons, when he said Kobe and Vince Carter, Bill Simmons, I'm like, they just doesn't have the same build. Those guys are like 6'8", too, 6'7". You know.
But he is upper level athleticism, but just not the 1%.
No, yeah, those guys are like, he's not Anthony Edwards athletic guys.
Right.
He's skilled. So he's like, I put that prime Gilbert mixed with like I'm trying to think of another like he's up top, ISO shifty, can pull up on a dime. There's not a lot of those guys that we have like that. You know, Donovan Mitchell-esque, Eskish.
Yeah.
He's got that game. You know, so I mean, he's there. His ceiling's high. He's De'Aaron Peterson's probably the most, in terms of that draft class, the most polished. I'd probably put him number one. Mikal Brown is a guy who's coming now into the fold, surprising a lot of people. I told y'all.
No, it's so funny because
I said it.
Even like that was like doing that against Kentucky in a rivalry game. The way he played, the way his highlight, everything about that game is like that was the wake up call. Like hello to America and everything like that. Obviously, you and a lot of people in Orlando have known about this for a while. His game. It's a pro game. Like,
bro, do you see him in the pick and roll?
Crazy. Yeah.
Do you see him in the pick and roll? This guy was
like dunking too, though.
This guy's dropping dimes, finishing and ones over top of 7 footers, left hand, right hand. He had a left hand hook the other game before. People didn't miss. He like split it and hit it. Could shoot 3 feet behind the line, off the dribble, can go right, can go left, and can pass with both hands. So I see him, and I see any high-level skilled point guard. So I look at someone like Mikal, and he doesn't have the size of like a Cade Cunningham, but he reminds me of Cade-esque, like just can do a little bit of everything. He doesn't have Cade's body and frame. He's not his size. He's smaller, but he's skilled and shifty. He's like a mix between like Cade Cunningham and Darius Garland. I don't know how to like.
Someone said it's like Halliburton without the quirkiness.
I don't see Halliburton. He's got way more ISO in his game. Like you get he hits like side step back. Halliburton don't have a bag. His bag is through the team, the flow of the game. Halliburton's a great team point guard. He's a star through a team. If you put Halliburton on a really bad team and told him to go put up 30, you're in for a long night. He's not that type of guy. You put Halliburton on a good team, I don't know that many point guards who can run it better than him. You see what I'm saying? It's like Jason Kidd was great on really good. You put him on good teams, he's unbelievable. Put Jason Kidd on his own team, like, hey, we need you to average 25. Jason Kidd be like, that's not what I do.
Yeah, but you know what Halliburton can do? He could be like the ecosystem of a team offense. Like he's kind of like, all right, now that we have this quarterback, we can play a certain type of basketball.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He's a system. I don't want to say a system guy, but he's great at that. Yeah. He is a good engine to drive a good team. He's the engine that drives our team. That's what Halliburton is.
Yeah, you're talking about Mikal Brown could give you that 30 ball that maybe
Halliburton
was more. It could do you like the 20, 15.
Yes, through a good team though.
Yeah.
You can put Mikal on a bad team. Mikal can go get you 40. You know what I mean? Like, just different.
The evolution too of him is like now he's like dunking with ease, which is
I didn't see that coming.
Else, yeah.
I didn't see that part where he started floating above the rim and punching like that. I didn't see that till he was on that USA team, and I saw him have some of those dunks. I was like, oh shit, this guy's really athletically starting to come into his own.
Right.
So I see a mix between, those guys. The problem is he shoots the ball so deep. The first person you go to is Steph. I don't like comparing people to Steph. It's just not fair. So I go to other guys. He's like a mix between a Trae Young.
Like a taller Trae, like Trae Young meets like what I saw one guy in the comments says, I think this is what Sean Livingston was supposed to be before he got hurt. Like it's just like a long
and that's why I said Cade, because Cade is a guy who can go either hand.
Yeah. This has been a big Cade podcast today. That's what happens when you put an Austin's courtside for a 40-point triple-double.
Bro, I literally watched him play the other day, and my eyes were just like I literally called my dad after that game and I said, he's unbelievable. He's so much better than what anybody thought he was going to be, to the point where now he is by far, he's the best guard in the East. I wouldn't take another guard near him. He's that good. So, yeah, that's what I see with Mikal. So, again, look at these guys we're naming, these players. And, again, we haven't even touched them. There's many more guys we can name and run off on the list.
Caleb Wilson.
This guy's averaging 23 as a freshman.
Nate Ament, who's, like, still so raw, obviously, friend of the pod.
Tennessee.
But, like, he's just – you could tell when NBA GMs are going to see him and be like, we're going to get that guy.
Of course.
Yeah,
he's going to be a top 5 pick.
Yeah.
So, you have those guys. The kid from Virginia Tech.
Well, I don't
know when the Luka Doncic is at.
What is that?
Who is that guy? Where's he from?
I don't know anything.
I don't like how easy he was making it look, and I don't like some of those moves. Who the is this guy? These Europeans are coming over here a little bit too.
Where is he from last year? I didn't know. We should have done some research on him.
We have to do an investigation on him.
Yeah,
something's not right. Something smells. He's too good. He doesn't look like
22 Jump Street is this.
He doesn't look like he needs to be in college either.
Yeah.
Some of these guys look like grown men and shouldn't be in college. So we need to just start. We need to let guys just go from high. NIL, they're already getting paid. Just let them go to the NBA. I wish I had that. Although I loved my experience at Duke, so I don't take it back. But if you could go to the NBA at high school, I probably would have went. But again, what a draft class. So when we talk about Dallas and Clippers and some of these teams who are having bad seasons, it's like, some of these GMs, the Clippers don't have their picks, but some of these teams are having bad years are like, lights at the end of the tunnel, guys.
The Mavs were like, you know what? Let's just sink this ship early.
I'm saying. If you're at like a bad start to the season, you turn on a college game, a lot of these guys are sitting there like, one of these guys could literally change our franchise.
Yeah. Next time CJ McCollum goes for 40, you're getting benched. Like, what do you think you're doing? How dare you?
They're 1-9. He could have a game or two like that. That team is, yeah. The Wizards, they actually do have some talented young players though on their team.
Yeah, Alex Sarr's playing well.
I like Keyshawn George too.
Yeah.
Keyshawn George is good. He's going to be a hell of a player. And even Alex Sarr is getting better. He's got good hands. Has a really nice hook with his left shoulder. Needs to develop the other way. Going right shoulder, left hook. Those are like skills that like separate you. You know what I mean? Like Evan Mobley went from being good to all-star when he started being able to like finish with both hands. When you don't know what shoulder someone's doing, it's very hard to guard. You used to guard Al Jefferson. You didn't know which way he was going. You know what I mean? Like that's – talk about a name I just threw out there.
That's crazy.
So, yeah, I there are a plethora, 8, 9 franchise changers.
Well, you know what's really cool about
which
this
is a lot.
Is the number one pick every year. It's like we knew Cooper was going to have it, or all these.
We don't know.
Be,
I don't know who it is.
This is going to be like whatever team gets it. There's going to be a lot of pressure on them because that's a fireable offense if you miss. And then there's like, wait, you didn't get Cam Boozer, the guy that won 4 straight national championships in high school that went to Duke, or you didn't get Darren Peterson, who's this obvious prospect. Like. It's almost like you don't want to get the number 1 pick. I'd rather go the 3rd. Let that amazing guy come to me at 3.
Not for real.
Like, you don't get fired or anything.
I'd almost pull a Boston and be like, we want this guy anyway. They're gonna take him. We'll trade you this. Let's pull a Fultz on Tatum type thing.
That's a great call. This is the draft to do it.
I don't know if I want the number 1 pick. It's too much pressure. If I have the 3rd, I'm still getting a guy anyway. It's probably the guy I want anyway.
Right.
You can go ahead and take one of the. The safe bet for most people is taking AJ. Or Darren.
Really?
I think Peterson or AJ are the
I would say Peterson and Boozer. They're
really?
so safe. Boozer's like...
He is like the safest guy
I just feel like he's your starting power. If you draft him, it's like drafting Al Horford. He's your starting power forward for 10
right
years.
Away. Yeah, right away. Yeah.
Just don't worry about power forwards for a long time.
I guess when I meant safest pick, I meant most understandable from a fan base.
Oh, like AJ DeBance's number 1 pick. It's like the way Anthony Edwards was number 1 pick.
Yeah, it's like
highlights, fill the seats,
and if he doesn't play well, you can't fire me for taking AJ.
Yeah.
That's what I meant. Now, safest would be Cameron, for sure.
Cam or Peterson, yeah.
Cameron or Peterson are the safest bets. But in terms of like a guy that you can't be blamed for taking number one, it's like you take AJ DeMansion number one. If I get fired for taking AJ, it's like, what the guys? This guy was, what are we talking about? Look at the shit he's doing. It doesn't even look real.
Let's say you're like the Brooklyn Nets and you really don't have any pieces. I'm like, Mikael Brown would be the head of the snake like Cade is for the Detroit. Like
I would love a Mikael Brown.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I would love a Mikael Brown.
Yeah.
Bro, if I'm like the Magic or something like that, needs a like, could you imagine him coming home?
I mean, the Magic hopefully aren't in that situation.
No, the Magic
just beat the Knicks last night.
Magic are
Double digits.
too good of a team. Too good of a team. Although
I have a question.
I'm not the biggest fan of their team.
I have a question. That Bane game winner, and it seemed like that like got them together, and you saw them celebrating, hugging, and then last game they came out, played their best game of the season. Does a game winner like that kind of bring everyone together?
One game can change the flow of a team.
Yeah.
One game can change everything.
Yeah.
To where everything starts snowballing the right way. They were like free falling there for a little bit. It's easy to point the finger when it's raining outside and everything's bad. Once the sun comes out, everything's like it just feels better.
You were talking about how winning changes things. You know, they're 5-2 in their last 7 games, and people were saying, "Well, do Paolo and Franz do they play well together?" Like, and then they were talking about Bane. Was that a bad acquisition or Coach Mosley? And I was like, 5-2 in the last 7 games, everyone can relax for a little bit.
Everybody starts to breathe a little bit.
Yeah.
Everybody starts to come down.
Winning changes everything.
Winning changes everything. It's amazing the feeling of coming into the practice facility after winning a couple games in a row versus losing a couple of days in a row. It's just two different vibes, two different energies. Again, we just talked about it with Dallas. If they were 8-2, you think they fire Nico right now? No. But when you're down bad and you're losing and the crowd's saying stuff in rooms, and the next thing you know, like decisions are made. People start trying to find the reason. Even if there's not one, they'll make one. So now that they're winning, people are starting to be like, Magic are back. See, it's just that, hey, man, listen, winning cures everything. It's better, but to the teams who are losing right now, where it's dark clouds, if you are a fan of the Wizards, if you are, Charlotte or whoever, I don't know how many teams are bad right now. I have to look at the depth chart of where teams are at. The light is at the tunnel because this draft class that's coming in is the best we've seen since like 2003. It's there. So next year is going to be unbelievable for the rookie class. I don't think I've ever been excited to go to like a summer league.
Oh, it's going to be great.
But next year's summer league is going to be lit. You're going to have like 9 games you can go watch studs play. Like usually there's like 2 games.
Hopefully March Madness.
Like Cooper's game was sold out, and then after Cooper's game, like summer league died.
Right.
Next year, you got like 8 games you can go check out. You can go watch AJ play one game. You can go watch Cameron play. You can go watch Mikael play. You can go watch Caleb play. You can go watch, bro, the kid from Baylor's averaging 18. The kid from Virginia Tech, the foreign kids that putting up numbers. Bro, there's so many guys playing because there's a top. This is one of those draft classes. It comes every 10, 15 years, 20 years. We'll get one. This is one of those classes. So, very excited for that. And there's light at the end of the tunnel for some of these bad teams.
Right.
All right, well, that does it for this episode. We'll be back next week. Don't forget to like, subscribe, follow us on Instagram and TikTok, The Off Guard Podcast. You can listen to us on Spotify and now Apple. You can check us out. We're up. We're running, folks. It's time. So I'll put the links in my bio. Pausha will put the link in his bio for once. Yeah, I'm challenging you publicly.
Well, Nico Harrison is unemployed in his bio. Maybe I can make it.
Yeah, maybe you can
get in that edit.
Maybe you can edit that you have a job. Thank you. We'll put the links in our bio so people can actually click our pages and listen and know where to find our product. Thank you guys for supporting us. We will be back next week. Y'all have a safe weekend. Stay warm.